ahead. Right, I want to talk Manchester United now. Rob, Kobbie Mainoo, he's good enough to start in the Carabao Cup, not good enough to start in the Premier League. What is the latest with him?
Well, he's good enough to start in a European Championship final for England last summer as well. Look, Darmish has done an awful lot of work on this story, so I need to give a nod to him on this one as well. Manchester United are expecting offers for him. I think the fact that he hasn't played a single minute of football in the Premier League yet this season under Ruben Amorim has made it a pretty clear signal to all of the clubs out there that they would potentially do a deal for him. We understand that those clubs are both in the Premier League and in Europe. And that Mainoo is potentially open to leaving Old Trafford. I don't think he wants to. He would rather be a feature in the first team. But he's getting the impression pretty clearly that he's not part of Ruben Amorim's plans. And he hasn't yet said that directly to the club that I want to leave. But it's pretty clear that United, if they were to get a good offer for him, would have to consider it.
Do questions need to be asked about Amorim? Because we can all see it, he's shoehorning his captain into that side, out of position, and he's got a player who plays that position for England in a final, sitting on the bench. Do we need to ask, what is the head coach doing?
Well, a lot of people are asking that. Gary Neville has tentatively asked that, hasn't he, after the weekend? And he said if he doesn't fancy Kobbie Mainoo, Manchester United have got to go out and buy a midfielder. He's a bit bemused by it because, like the rest of us, they think they have a ready-made young talent, if not a generational talent, then you know, an excellent player of huge potential. I think what we have to say is we don't know what's gone on behind the scenes, because that's the only thing I can think that is happening here. That there is some sort of personality clash, relationship problem between Mainoo and Ruben Amorim.
Do you think is it not just a case that he thinks I've got to play Fernandes? He's my captain.
He doesn't have to play Casemiro.
Listen, the Kobbie Mainoo thing, in part as well, you could argue that Mainoo is the victim of circumstance here as well, because Ruben Amorim is playing a 3-4-2-1 formation. That's why Manchester United hired him, and he told them this is the formation that I play. The number of games is a bit of a hindrance for Kobbie Mainoo as well, because Manchester United didn't win the Europa League final. There's no European football, so suddenly it's effectively, apart from this week, of course, when there's cup games, there's one game a week. So Ruben Amorim will see what is my best team. And at the moment, he feels Bruno Fernandes, his captain, is in his best team ahead of Kobbie Mainoo. But there's not much wriggle room for him to be able to rotate that, because there's not a Europa League or a Champions League or a Conference League campaign whereby he can play these players. Look, Mainoo is starting today. I wonder if...
Against Grimsby.
I get that, but if there was a deal that was close, for example, behind the scenes, would he be playing tonight? Would they try and harm any kind of deal? So it should be said, as Rob mentioned before, that Manchester United are happy with him. They don't want to lose Kobbie Mainoo. This is more coming from Kobbie Mainoo's side, because for the first two games of the Premier League season, he's an unused substitute. He feels like he's not going to get the game time that he wants, because, like many other players, and we're going to see this as a big theme in the final few days, I need to find a club where I'm going to play because I want to be in the World Cup squad, whichever country they play for.
The other point is, though, that there's a fundamental point there. You're right that Manchester United haven't got the number of games. You're right about Ruben Amorim's chosen formation with three centre-backs. It means he can only have two central midfielders. I get that. But fundamentally, most football pundits would say, looking at Bruno Fernandes, Casemiro and Kobbie Mainoo, and you're looking for two number 8s in that role, that surely one of those has to be Kobbie Mainoo. Yeah. And that's why, to me, it says something else is going on here. There has to be something behind the scenes, because it makes no logical footballing sense that Kobbie Mainoo can't get a place in that starting 11. OK, I
want to talk about some of the bomb squad, Darmish. Rasmus Højlund, what's the latest on him?
Yes, so Napoli continuing to hold talks with Manchester United over the signing of Rasmus Højlund. They do want to finalise this deal. I was told that two other clubs, one from England and one from Germany, made late inquiries for Rasmus Højlund, but he wants to go to Napoli. I think he's ready to travel there, but, and it's a big but, they need to get that deal agreed between the two clubs. Clearly, that hasn't been done yet. Manchester United are happy to do a deal, but they will do it on their terms. Both Manchester United and Rasmus Højlund want a permanent element attached to any deal. Remember, Napoli's initial proposal was like a loan with an option, but that would turn into an obligation depending on goals, appearances, Champions League qualification. And if you think about a situation when a club proposes a deal like that, the selling club, if they want a permanent guarantee that the player will be sold at the end of that loan, that really doesn't offer them that permanent guarantee. Because, for example, if they like Rasmus Højlund, say he goes there on loan and they like him, he scores a few goals, but they're still umming and ahhing about whether or not they want to trigger this option. They could say, right, if we play him in 2 more games, that option is triggered. Let's not play him. Where does that leave United?
Yeah.
Back to where they started from again. So I think at this moment in time, Napoli definitely do want him, and Rasmus Højlund wants to go. And look, I think we can refer to a picture, quite a famous picture. Here we go. This one here, where you've got Rasmus Højlund, Alejandro Garnacho and Kobbie Mainoo. And when this goal was scored, and this picture was on the back pages of nearly every single newspaper, it was on music closers with these images, it was almost painted as, this is the future of Manchester United. And there is, however remote a chance, that all 3 players might not be at the club by the end of this window. A remote chance, admittedly, but you can just see that they're not fully in favour at the moment. We know about Kobbie Mainoo. Rob's explained it there. We've just spoken about Rasmus Højlund. The Alejandro Garnacho one, that one continues. Chelsea and Manchester United continue talks.
Closer now, though, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, look, we expect it to happen, this deal. Manchester United will want to do it on their terms. There's only 5 days of this window to go. He has made it clear he wants to go to Chelsea. He's rebuffed various other offers. Chelsea have made it clear that they want the player as well. So we expect that one to happen before the window closes.
All right, and they're not the only ones, Rob. Anthony, Jadon Sancho, Tyrell Malacia. What's the news on them?
Well, Darmish hinted at it there. Manchester United's strategy has changed this summer. They don't want to let any of these players that aren't part of Ruben Amorim's plans go on deals where they could be back at the club in a year's time, and they've got the same problem again. They're trying to get them out. They're not part of the plans. They want to move them on. Anthony, discussions with Real Betis are positive. There's cautious optimism. I think that the deal can be done there. And even though Betis were talking about a loan deal, I think they're now talking about a straight purchase. Sancho, well, he's exploring his options. A number of clubs are interested. Roma desperately want him, but he doesn't want to go there as things stand. So again, United's preference is a permanent deal, but we'll see, because it's getting so late in the window, whether they may be forced to accept a loan deal for him. Tyrell Malacia, interest from clubs growing, we're told, in the defender. But again, because it's so late in the window, a loan move is the most likely. United want to try and move these players on in a bit more of a permanent fashion so that they can move on, so that the players can move on. But time is of the essence here, and they're a little bit pinched in that department.
And they want to bring in a goalkeeper, Lamens. Darmish said this beautifully the other day. He said if they bring him in, they've just got a string of number 2s. Why are they trying to buy him?
Well, look, the way that's been described to me is that Manchester United have had this strategy throughout the summer, brought about by the data, and they're very much data-led in the way they're recruiting players now and planning their strategy. And the strategy and that data said to them very clearly, we didn't score enough goals last season. We need to score more goals. And so, because of that...
We could have told them that.
Well, yeah, but we'd also say they needed a midfielder and a new defender and a centre-back as well. Manchester United's bosses know they can't solve all of their imbalance in the squad and strengthen it as they would like to in one window. Yeah. So the priority was put on the attacks. Well, they spent over £200 million on 3 world-class players in that department. They think they will get them the goals. Whereas the goalkeeper here with Lamens, they thought it was too good a deal to miss. They think he could be a good addition to the goalkeeping group, add competition. £17 million, they think, is a really good price for him. So it was almost opportunistic that they were going to get this one done.
What we should say about this deal, though, it's not a done deal. So they remain in talks with Royal Antwerp, do Manchester United. £17.3 million is the deal under discussion. However, we're told that Manchester United, as they probably have done throughout this transfer window, and it was evidenced in the Benjamin Sesko deal, when they were rivaling Newcastle for his signature, they will not get involved in a bidding war over any player. And this is amid interest from Galatasaray, and there are some reports that Galatasaray are willing to offer more. Now, Lamens, we think, wants to go to Manchester United. So, as it stands, deal is not done yet. They're still working on it, but there is still a chance that come 7 p.m, September the 1st, the goalkeeping department that is there at Manchester United right now, Onana, Bayindir, Tom Heaton, that will be the same goalkeeping department come 7 p.m. on Monday.
Right, we're going to take a break. So, United linked with Lamens, Manchester City linked with Donnarumma. What is going on there? We'll discuss that next. See you in a moment.
In 24 hours after that humiliating cup defeat to Grimsby, Andre Onana took a fair bit of criticism for his part in the defeat, with United remaining in talks with Royal Antwerp over the signing of Senna Lamens. Now, James, United fans will be asking, can their problems be solved by buying a goalkeeper? I'm guessing the answer might not be yes.
Well, they can't solve all their options,
No.
but the issues by signing a goalkeeper. But when you look at the goals they've conceded, there have been 3 matches of the season. 3 of the goals could have been prevented if they had a goalkeeper in there that wasn't making mistakes. And Andre Onana and Altay Bayindir have made a number of errors for Manchester United. Andre Onana has over the course of the 2 years he's been at the club, and with the 2 goals yesterday. And Bayindir doesn't look quite right when it comes to balls coming into the box either via crosses or set pieces. But the thing is, for Manchester United, there's a number of issues there, but you can't solve every single issue you have in one transfer window. You have to prioritise, and what United have done in this transfer window is they've prioritised sorting out their front line, which they've done, signing a striker and 2 wide players as well. They'd like to sign a centre midfielder and a goalkeeper, but you're so heavily restricted when it comes to profit and sustainability. And unfortunately for Manchester United, they've not been very good at selling players. If they were able to sanction departures for the likes of Rasmus Højlund, Jadon Sancho, Antony, but get really good money for these players, then they would be in a really good position in the final few days of this window, where they could go, right, we know we need a goalkeeper, let's go and get the best one in the world, let's go and get Donnarumma. Everyone in the world wants to sign him. But because United can't sell well at this moment in time, they can't attack the final days of this transfer window, because they'd leave themselves in a situation whereby, to comply with PSR, if they don't sell these players and get good money, they'd have to then try to sell them in January, where clubs know they're desperate to sell them. They wouldn't be able to buy players in January. Or they'd have to try and sell them before the 30th of June next summer, where clubs know they're absolutely desperate to get rid of them to avoid breaching profit and sustainability rules. We know they remain in talks with Royal Antwerp around the signing of Senna Lamens, but he wouldn't immediately come in and be United's number one. That's not our understanding. He's 23 years of age. He's a goalkeeper that Amorim's admired for a long period of time. He's looked at him since he was at Sporting, in fact. But he's been seen as somebody that can come and compete for the number one jersey. I think if you ask Manchester United fans, this game against Burnley this weekend, they'd want Tom Heaton to start in goal. If you did a poll right now, they'd want Tom Heaton starting goal. That's how little confidence they have in the goalkeepers they have there right now. But in terms of United going after somebody who's going to come in and be a number one straight away, unfortunately, at this moment in time, it looks that is going to be pretty much impossible for them to do before Monday night.
Yeah.
The result that sent shockwaves through Old Trafford and beyond. Manchester United suffered a humiliating defeat to Grimsby, a club far below United's usual standard. Fans watching live couldn't believe what they were seeing. The Premier League giants looked sloppy, nervous, and at times completely outplayed by a lower league side. Mistakes piled up, nerves got the better of the players, and the scoreboard told a story that nobody expected. It wasn't just a loss. It was a statement that all is not well in Manchester. And if that wasn't enough to get the Red Devils faithful worried, the spotlight quickly turned to one of the most talked about positions in football, the goalkeeper. Andre Onana, brought in with so much expectation, made a number of errors that directly contributed to the defeat. Some were simple misjudgments, others were glaring mistakes that a team of United's caliber can rarely afford. Social media erupted with criticism, pundits questioned his readiness, and the pressure on him has only intensified. Fans are now left asking, can Onana recover and prove he's the long-term solution, or does Manchester United need to look elsewhere? Speaking of alternatives, this brings us to the goalkeeper transfer market. Manchester United have been closely monitoring Sander Lamens from Royal Antwerp. Lamens is young, highly rated, and considered by scouts as a potential future star. Talks with Antwerp have been ongoing, but as with all transfers, there's no guarantee the deal will go through, and United know this. The club doesn't want to be caught off guard, which is why discussions around backup options and alternatives are ongoing behind closed doors. But here's where the plot thickens, and this is something you need to pay close attention to. The club's financial situation and adherence to the PSR, profit and sustainability regulations, are putting significant limitations on their transfer activity. For instance, high-profile targets like Gianluigi Donnarumma, one of the most talked-about goalkeepers in Europe, are currently out of reach. Manchester United simply cannot make certain moves without affecting their financial standing. and this has left the club in a position where careful planning is essential. It's not just goalkeepers. The club is also struggling to move some of its high-profile players. Names like Rasmus Højlund, Jadon Sancho, and Antony have proven difficult to sell or loan, further complicating the financial puzzle. Each player who remains on the books ties up significant resources that could otherwise be allocated to strengthen other areas of the squad. This is where strategy and patience become critical. United can't just make impulsive signings. Every decision has to be calculated. Now, let's zoom in on one of the most important aspects: squad priorities. While the goalkeeper position remains a talking point, the club is also laser-focused on reinforcing the front line. Attackers and creative players who can make an immediate impact are considered crucial, and resources are being carefully allocated to these positions. It's a delicate balancing act. Do you spend on a new goalkeeper who may solve long-term issues, or do you prioritize forwards who can provide immediate results in the Premier League? Right now, it seems the front line is taking precedence, though that doesn't mean the goalkeeper debate is over. So, what does all this mean for Manchester United fans? In short, it's a period of uncertainty. Some elements of the squad are underperforming, others are blocked by financial constraints, and the board is carefully managing the transfer market to avoid mistakes. But there's also opportunity. The talks around Lamens, combined with alternative solutions in case the primary plan fails, show that the club is thinking ahead. Meanwhile, careful prioritization of forward positions could be the difference between salvaging this season and falling further behind in the Premier League race. And let's not forget, these moves don't happen in isolation. Every missed sale, every financial limitation, every negotiation affects multiple areas of the team. That's why even small decisions, like who will start in goal next weekend or which attacker will get minutes, are intertwined with long-term strategic planning. United's hierarchy is playing a complex game behind the scenes, balancing the immediate need to win with long-term sustainability and growth. At the same time, the fans are watching closely. Social media, forums, and pundit commentary are all full of speculation, analysis, and criticism. United supporters are passionate, and for good reason. Every decision feels monumental. Every signing or failure to sign can shape the trajectory of the club. The pressure is intense, the stakes are high, and the tension is palpable. Now, circling back to the goalkeeper situation. This is the point where the story really picks up. Lamens remains a prime target, but United are preparing alternatives to ensure they aren't left exposed. Onana has the chance to prove himself, but the cracks in his performance have forced the club to hedge its bets. Combine that with financial limitations, difficulty moving existing players, and the need to invest in attackers, and you can see how complex this puzzle has become. It's a high-stakes scenario that will have a huge impact on the club's success over the coming months. As we watch how these negotiations unfold, one thing is clear. Manchester United are at a crossroads. Decisions made in the transfer market, player performances, and strategic prioritization will shape not just the season, but potentially the club's direction for years to come. The humiliation against Grimsby has exposed vulnerabilities, and now the board, manager, and recruitment team must act decisively to rebuild confidence, shore up weaknesses, and make the squad competitive again. So here's the takeaway for fans watching right now. The drama isn't over. Transfers, tactical decisions, and player movements are all ongoing. While the initial shock of the Grimsby defeat has faded slightly, the lessons learned from that match will resonate as United navigate the challenges of the season. Keep an eye on Onana, Lamens, and the frontline signings. The next few weeks could be pivotal, and every update will matter. In short, Manchester United are balancing multiple pressures: on-field performance, player development, financial sustainability, and strategic transfer planning. Mistakes like the ones seen in the Grimsby defeat cannot be repeated, but neither can hasty transfer decisions. The board and coaching staff must weigh short-term results against long-term stability, and fans can only watch closely and hope that careful planning pays off. So, stay tuned, follow every update, and keep watching closely. The story of Manchester United this season is far from over, and every decision in the transfer market or on the pitch could change everything. Keep your eyes on the club because the next developments could be huge. We start with breaking news straight from Manchester. After days of speculation and whispers from every corner of the football world, the red side of the city has finally made it official. Manchester United have reached an agreement and Carlos Baleba is now on English soil, preparing to undergo his medical examinations. The paperwork is almost wrapped up, and sources close to the deal suggest everything could be finalized before the day is over. The 20-year-old midfielder has been making waves across Europe with his explosive energy, quick transitions, and ability to adapt to multiple roles in midfield. United have been searching for exactly this type of profile, a player who can slot in, control the tempo when needed, but also drive forward with pace and power. That versatility is what convinced the recruitment team to push hard and get this deal across the line before the window slams shut. Supporters didn't waste a second either. Crowds gathered around the arrival gates at the airport earlier today, hoping to catch a glimpse of their potential new hero. Videos are already surfacing online of Baleba stepping off the plane, greeted by chants and scarves waving proudly in the air. It's the kind of moment that signals a fresh chapter, a new beginning, one that could prove vital for the season ahead. For United, this move is more than just adding another name to the squad list. It's a declaration of intent. After weeks of uncertainty in the market, they've gone bold on deadline day, securing a highly rated talent many believe has the ceiling to become one of the best in Europe. Baleba's arrival not only excites the fans, but also provides the manager with crucial depth in an area that has caused headaches over recent seasons. As we wait for the final signatures and the official unveiling, one thing is already certain. The buzz around Old Trafford has returned. The excitement, the hope, and the belief that something special could be brewing this campaign.
Also for the situation of Manchester United. Manchester United are working to sign a new goalkeeper. Manchester United always had two goalkeepers on their shortlist this summer. One is Senne Lammens, and Man United remain in negotiations with Royal Antwerp. They have an agreement with the player, but they're in negotiations with Antwerp. Antwerp are still not accepting, as of tonight, midnight, the offer from Man United because they believe that other clubs can jump into the race. So keep an eye on Lammens because the feeling internally at Royal Antwerp is that other clubs will...
Manchester United's goalkeeper chase is reaching a decisive stage and the clock is ticking. Sources in London have revealed that in the coming hours the situation around Sun London will become clearer. United don't want to drag this saga out endlessly. They're prepared to push forward with another sizable offer in the hope of finally landing their man. The bidding started modestly. 17 million was the opening shot. Then came an improved 20 million. Now the figure stands closer to 25 million, and United are signaling they're ready to step up once more if it means sealing an agreement with Roy. The message from Old Trafford is simple. No games, no waiting. Either the deal gets across the line soon, or they'll be forced to explore alternatives. And yet, the club's determination to land Lance remains strong. They see this young goalkeeper as a huge talent for the future, someone worth pushing the boundaries for. The plan is clear. Make one more major attempt to reach common ground and resolve the uncertainty. Now many of you have been asking, what happens if this pursuit collapses? If Lance is off the table, who else can United realistically bring in? At the moment, nothing else is advanced. The only other goalkeeper ever seriously weighed up this summer by the board was Emiliano Martinez. Despite rumors about other names like Maruma, as of today that is simply not the case. Maruma's camp is in active talks with Manchester City, not United. Back in July, Martinez was the subject of real discussions. United approached, held conversations, and were tempted to secure him as their number one. But the Argentine World Cup winner turned down the terms on offer, negotiations stalled, and the deal collapsed. From that point onwards, the focus shifted fully onto Sens, and now the spotlight is firmly on London. The expectation is that Manchester United will put everything on the table to clarify the situation. A big push is coming, and clarity should follow soon. Before wrapping up, let's not forget another important name, Antony. As of 10 o'clock this evening, his situation remains delicate, and we'll have updates on him shortly. But the goalkeeper story is dominating right now, and United are desperate to avoid another collapse in talks. It's a crucial few hours ahead. Manchester United are closing in on their next marquee edition of the summer, and the name on everyone's lips right now is Brighton's highly rated midfielder, Carlos Baleba. The 21-year-old sensation has reportedly given the green light to personal terms with the Red Devils, making it clear that Old Trafford is his preferred destination. Sources close to the situation reveal that Baleba has already made his intentions known to Brighton, telling the club he is ready to join Ruben Amorim's ambitious new project in Manchester. United have been locked in talks with Brighton for weeks, with negotiations proving tough as expected. However, insiders now believe there has been a major breakthrough, and optimism is growing that an agreement on the final fee could be reached in the coming days. Baleba's profile is exactly what Amorim has been demanding: powerful running, relentless energy, and an ability to dominate the midfield battle. At just 21, he already looks like the kind of player who can inject fresh intensity into United's midfield rebuild. Brighton are known as fierce negotiators, yet with Baleba himself pushing for the switch, United's persistence is paying off. Fans are buzzing at the thought of seeing the dynamic Cameroonian linking up with United's young talents, potentially forming the heartbeat of a new-look midfield. If the move gets over the line, this wouldn't just be another transfer, it would be a statement. It would prove United are backing Amorim with real talent and are serious about climbing back to the very top of English and European football. One of the biggest stories of the summer has just been confirmed. According to Sky Sports News, Manchester United have finally pulled off a blockbuster move, striking a deal with Brighton and Hove Albion to secure the signature of their powerhouse midfielder. This isn't just another signing, this is the arrival of a player perfectly built for United's needs. For months, fans have been calling out for a dominant figure in the middle of the park, someone who can shield the back line, break up attacks, and set the tone with calmness under pressure. That player has now arrived. Known for his crunching tackles, intelligent positioning, and iron composure, he is exactly the kind of enforcer Ruben Amorim has been pushing the club to deliver before the window closed. Brighton didn't make it easy. They stood firm, they resisted the offers, and they made it clear that prizing away their midfield general would come at a heavy price. Yet United's determination never wavered. Negotiations dragged, talks went back and forth, but in the end persistence won the day. The final agreement stands as one of the headline-grabbing deals of this transfer market, a statement that United are not here to fade quietly. They're here to fight for silverware. For Amorim, this is a tactical boost of the highest order. His system depends on balance, on structure, on a midfield anchor who can allow the creative forces further up the pitch to truly express themselves. Now he has that piece of the puzzle. It brings steel, it brings authority, and it brings a level of belief back into a squad that has been searching for consistency. The atmosphere around Old Trafford has completely shifted. From anxiety and doubt to renewed hope, the fans can sense that this team is shaping into something serious. The arrival of this midfield general sends a clear message to rivals. Manchester United mean business this season. The dream of a title push might no longer be wishful thinking with this signing. It's suddenly back on the table. Stay tuned, because the window may be closing, but the ripple effects of this transfer are only just beginning. And as always, if you want to stay updated on every twist in United's journey, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more breaking stories. Before we dive into the details, I want you to think about this. How often do you get to witness a signing that isn't just another player coming in, but a signal, a statement that the club is serious about climbing back to the very top? That's exactly what we're looking at today. Over the past few weeks, the football world has been buzzing about Manchester United's interest in Brighton's midfield powerhouse, Carlos Baleba. Every social media thread, every news outlet, every fan forum had the same question. Is this happening? Is United about to land the next big midfielder? Now, here's something you might not know. At a recent Brighton fan event, their CEO, Paul Barber, spoke directly about the speculation. He made it clear that while interest in Brighton players is always expected, United hadn't reached out about Baleba. Yet the rumors refused to die. Speculation, he reminded fans, is just that. Speculation. But in football, as we all know, rumors have a way of becoming reality faster than you can blink. And today, we finally have confirmation. Carlos Baleba is officially a Manchester United player. That's right, the 20-year-old Dynamo has completed his move to Old Trafford. And this isn't just another transfer in the quiet summer shuffle. This is the first real statement of intent from Ruben Amorim's new era. Let's pause for a second and really consider what this means. Balaba is not just any midfielder. He's strong, fearless, and relentless. Qualities United have desperately needed in the middle of the park. He's the kind of player who will battle for every ball, drive forward with purpose, and dictate the pace of games with his energy. Fans have been waiting for someone to bring that grit, that spark, and that unstoppable drive back into the squad. And now they've got him. This transfer is significant on multiple levels. First, it signals that Manchester United are thinking big. They're not just picking up young talent for the sake of depth. They're aiming for a player who can change games, lift the team, and inspire fans. Second, Balaba brings a style that perfectly complements the current squad. Think about it. A midfield that can combine creativity with aggression, vision with steel, energy with composure. That's exactly the kind of balance United have been chasing. With Balaba in the engine room, expect more forward momentum, more dominance in tight games, and a midfield that refuses to be pushed around. And here's the kicker, he's only 20. Imagine the growth potential. We could be witnessing the rise of a player who not only shapes this season but becomes a central figure for the next decade. For fans, that's the dream. Not just a signing that fixes problems now, but one that builds a legacy. Now, I want to hear from you. What do you think Balaba will bring to the team? Will he be the kind of player that changes games from the first day? Or will it take him a season to adapt to the Premier League grind? Drop your predictions in the comments below. I'll be reading every single one. Trust me, this conversation is just getting started. To put it in perspective, think back to some of the great midfield signings in Premier League history. Those players didn't just arrive, they transformed the way their teams played. Balaba has the tools to do the same. Fearless tackling, tireless running, and an instinct to be everywhere the action is needed. United fans know how much they've been missing that drive in recent seasons. Balaba isn't just filling a gap. He's redefining the midfield, and the timing couldn't be better. With a new era under Ruben Amorim, the club is showing that they're serious about moving fast, taking calculated risks, and making bold statements in the transfer market. This isn't business as usual, it's ambition in action. So what can we expect moving forward? First, immediate energy in the midfield. Balaba is the type of player who will press, tackle, and push the team forward from the first match. He can change the rhythm of games, dictate the tempo, and provide the kind of fearless presence United have lacked. Second, chemistry will be key. Fans will be watching how he adapts with his teammates, how he meshes with the attacking players, and how quickly he can become a leader on the pitch despite his young age. If everything clicks, Balaba could very well become a fan favorite almost instantly. Someone fans talk about not just for his skills, but for the attitude and commitment he brings to the pitch. Finally, this signing sets the tone for the transfer window. United have sent a clear signal to the league. They're rebuilding, they're ambitious, and they're ready to challenge for glory. And with Balaba as the first bold step in this era, expectations will rise, both on the pitch and among the fans. Football fans, stay with me on this one because what I'm about to share tonight might just shake Manchester United to its core. Don't skip, don't fast forward, watch until the very end, because the truth of what's unfolding is more dramatic than anything we've seen in years. This isn't just about one result, or one missed chance, or even one individual. This is about a crisis spiraling out of control, a story that grows darker with every new twist. Now, before we get to the breaking update, the one you've been waiting to hear, let's set the stage. Because to understand the shock of what just happened, you need to feel the full weight of the collapse that led to this moment. Manchester United walked into this cup tie knowing they had everything to lose. Against a lower league opponent, most fans expected a professional job, a routine win, and a step closer to silverware. But what they got instead was 90 minutes of growing frustration, a performance dripping with nerves, and a finish that left jaws on the floor. The match itself felt cursed from the very beginning. Passes went astray, chances went begging, and you could sense the unease building in the stands. The underdogs smelled blood, growing bolder with every misplaced United ball. And yet, when the game went to penalties, the assumption was still clear: United would surely find a way. Big players step up in big moments. That's what supporters have always believed. But then came the heartbreak. Brian Bumo, trusted with the responsibility, stepped forward. Once, twice, and twice the outcome was the same. The net stayed untouched. The roar of the fans turned into stunned silence, and United's hopes disintegrated before their eyes. 2 penalties gone, 2 lifelines cut, and with them the humiliation sealed. Now here's where things take a turn, because what happened on the pitch was only half the story. The real bombshell came after. Reports began swirling almost immediately that one top figure inside Manchester United, someone whose presence many thought was secure, had made an unexpected exit. No official warning, no long goodbye, just a sudden, sharp departure in the wake of disaster. And this right here is the part that changes everything. Fans were left reeling. Not just from the loss, not just from the penalties, but from the shock of watching the club unravel from the inside. Questions began flooding in. Who pushed for this? Was it a resignation, a sacking, a decision made in anger? Or was this a planned move brought forward because of the humiliation? This is where we're standing now, at the crossroads of confusion and speculation. United's statement, carefully worded yet strangely hollow, only adds to the uncertainty. It acknowledges the departure, it acknowledges the pain of defeat, but it leaves the biggest questions hanging in the air. And those questions are dangerous, because make no mistake, fans are no longer just disappointed. They're furious. They're demanding answers. They're demanding accountability. Social media is ablaze with criticism, with frustration, with outright calls for a full-scale reset. People aren't asking if changes are coming, they're asking how many, how fast, and how deep. And that brings us to the bigger picture. You see, moments like this don't happen in isolation. They're part of a pattern, a history of mismanagement, of wasted opportunities, of leaders who promised transformation but delivered turbulence. Every missed penalty, every shock exit, every painful night like this only strengthens the feeling that United are drifting further and further from where they once belonged. Supporters are beginning to wonder, is this just the first domino? If one figure can leave in such dramatic fashion, who's next? Could this spark a chain reaction that reshapes the very future of the club? We've seen it before in football, one defeat triggering a collapse, one decision leading to another until the entire structure is rebuilt. And let's not forget the rivals circling. While Manchester United stumble, others are rising. City continue their dominance, Arsenal and Liverpool push harder every season. Even the so-called underdogs are refusing to back down. In this climate, one crisis at United doesn't just cost a trophy, it risks years of falling further behind. So where does this leave the club? Well, as it stands tonight, United are facing more uncertainty than ever. The penalty heartbreak was brutal. Yes, but it's the exit behind the scenes that has turned this into a full-blown crisis. For the fans, it's no longer about what happened in one match. It's about whether they can trust the direction of the club at all. And let me leave you with this thought. Sometimes the biggest storms begin not with thunder, but with a single crack in the sky. Tonight's events, the penalties, the humiliation, the sudden departure, might be that crack. The question now is whether Old Trafford can withstand the storm that's surely coming. The crisis, my friends, is only just beginning, and the answers fans are demanding, they may not come anytime soon. Big breaking news coming out tonight. And yes, it's transfer drama surrounding Manchester United. The Red Devils' summer business is moving quickly, and the headlines are being dominated by one name, Carlos Biba. The Brighton starlet has been spotted arriving at Carrington ahead of his medical, and all signs suggest the deal is about to be sealed. This isn't just any signing. Biba has built a reputation as one of the most exciting young midfielders in the Premier League. Known for his drive, physicality, and composure on the ball, he's exactly the type of player United have been crying out for in the middle of the park. His arrival is expected to bring balance, control, and a fresh injection of energy into a midfield that has looked inconsistent in recent seasons. Manager Ruben Amorim has been clear from day one that he wants to rebuild this team with hungry, dynamic players, and making Biba a cornerstone of that project sends a clear message. This is about shaping a United side that can compete not just domestically but on the European stage as well. On social media, United supporters are already lighting up with excitement. Many are calling it a huge statement of intent, proof that the club is backing their new manager and finally moving decisively in the market. With the medical underway, sources say it's only a matter of time before the official announcement drops, and when it does, Biba will instantly become one of the marquee arrivals of this transfer window. What does this mean for United? It signals that the Old Trafford revolution is no longer just talk. It's happening right now. Biba's arrival could mark the first of several major changes as Amorim reshapes the squad in his image. Fans have been waiting for bold moves, and this feels like the start of something big. So get ready, Manchester United's summer is heating up, and tonight's developments prove the rebuild is already in motion. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and drop your thoughts in the comments. Is Biba the perfect signing to transform United's midfield?